podcast. Myself, Dave, got Kevin, I've got Tom, and like I said, episode 3. So in the meantime, thank you guys for going to our Facebook page, shooting us likes there, making sure you can listen to it on SoundCloud. And I found out today that Spotify is coming to Canada, so soon you'll be able to hear us on that. So today we're going to be talking on a basic guideline or how best to organize your time in the gym. We want to maximize efficiency. We want to make sure we're getting something done. And we basically want to say that you don't have to be in there for 4 hours a day to look and be as athletic as possible, right? So Tom, take us away.
Okay, start off basic outlines, and this is kind of gonna touch on what we talked about last week and the last few weeks.
Week 1, yeah.
With programming and everything. So that's the step 1. Have a plan, have a program. Don't just, I'm going to the gym today to work out, right?
So what are we kind of looking for? We want to plan. Are you training for a specific sport?
Powerlifting.
Are you training for aesthetic? Are you training for a run? Are you training for things like that? So there's a million different plans. We touched on this every single time, is that finding a decent plan and sticking with it is better than just getting on a plan for 2 weeks saying this sucks because I didn't max up my deadlift.
Yeah.
And moving on from that.
And just having a goal, right? So go in with a goal, go in with a plan, an idea of what you want to accomplish in that workout. And then, right to the bare bones, actual structure of your gym time. 20-minute warm-up, 40 minutes of actual work, and then about 10 to 5 minutes afterwards just to kind of cool down, get back
10 to 5 minutes
to normal. Yeah.
But basically that's saying that in reality you don't have to spend more than an hour in the gym. If you spend 90 minutes in the gym, you're probably maxed out and you did basically everything you could that day.
Yeah.
Now we're not talking about 2-a-days, anything like that, but you can basically get in and get out with everything. So you got to remember that we are definitely geared more towards the powerlifting, Olympic lifting, and CrossFitting world. But a basic warm-up, if we're talking about that, it's just essentially we're looking at dynamic warm-up, so lots of hip activation. And then when we say mobility work, this is more of an active mobility, so it isn't usually 2-minute static holds.
Yeah,
and if they are, we like to get bands involved.
Yeah.
Forcing hip joints out of position.
Contract, relax method, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get those hip capsules opened up.
Yeah, the Bergner warm-up is really good. And I mean, Bergner warm-up has a million different ways to go through it, but essentially it's working through your Olympic lifts with a barbell, working through your snatches, things you'd see everybody doing anyways.
Yeah, and that's something you do more of at the end of your warm-up, because within your warm-up, 20 minutes, 10 minutes for general stuff, and then 10 minutes for more specific.
Yeah, the movements you're really going to be trying to accomplish in that day.
Yeah.
So great resources for that. MobilityWOD.com is fantastic. There's something called the actual CrossFit warm-up. You can take your warm-up as using basic, using movements that maybe you're weak at and trying to incorporate them into the warm-up. So like a SOTS press.
Yeah.
So obviously you're trying to get good at that. You want to get stronger at that. But working at it with a bar over and over and over is going to be good. I felt like my butterfly pull-ups were lacking. So I made sure I incorporated that into my warm-up today, and I felt really good about it.
And that's following up on that. Try and have some consistency in your warm-ups too. So have a few moves or a set of moves that you can shuffle throughout the week, so you're not doing something different every day, so you actually are progressing in your mobility, in your flexibility, stuff like that.
I try and make a 4-week mobility warm-up routine for myself.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so and you're focusing on a specific skill you want to accomplish right now.
Whether it's my thoracic extension, being able to keep that chest up, and just my general hip mobility.
So you're working on splits right now,
yeah? Yeah, right now I forget what's that website called?
Catalyst
Athletics.
Yes. I got the basic warm up on there.
Yeah.
Did that for 4 weeks, and then actually a girl we work with who's in gymnastics gave me a split progression routine
on how to get there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that for 4 to 6 weeks and see how I do.
How's that going?
Good, actually.
Yeah.
I do it every day. I should have done it before that Tough Mudder yesterday. But
Kevin just got back from doing the Tough Mudder where he walked.
I walked.
A grueling 16K. got electrocuted on the skull.
Yeah, I got the Arctic enema.
Yeah.
I could have just done the enema part.
For those of you who know Kevin, think of him being tiny, frozen to death, and having to take a knee on the other side.
Gimli.
Yeah, Gimli.
Coming out of a dumpster. It's literally a dumpster full of ice.
Like, dumpster full of ice piss. It was just another weekend in Sylvan Lake.
Yeah. So no, if you're getting a mobility plan, like Tom said, make sure it's 20 minutes. Don't go half hour with it. 20 minutes, 4 weeks, and switch it up. Like everyone else said, work on those areas that really need to get worked on.
Yeah, if you have a specific focus on improvement.
Yeah, and that's a really good idea, actually, having a set plan for a set amount of time for your warm-ups. That's, again, really good. But you can also, again, depending on where you're at mobility-wise, you can kind of just go in and see, okay, where am I feeling tight today? What am I doing today? So as long as you have those moves back in your head and you know...
I really have to work my low back again today. That makes 6 months in a row. Think of it this way too. So if you're looking at your warm up, depending how tough it is, you can start talking about volume and saying, "Am I doing too much in my warm up? Am I not doing enough?" Yeah. I go back to him all the time because he seems to be the only guy I know anything about. But Lucas Parker spends an hour. He goes in. He says, "Yeah, I spent about an hour and a half." He spends about a half an hour on his warm up, and it comes out and he's been there for an hour and 10 minutes doing it. So if you did that 5 or 6 days a week or 7 days a week, that's an extra 5, 6, 7 hours in the gym.
Yeah.
An extra 5, 6, 7 hours of, mediocre but wear and tear on your body.
Oh, yeah, which is, again, not a huge issue if you're kind of around that, his level where
he's a super crazy athlete.
Yeah, almost at the professional level and where he has the time to do that. But if we're talking about... Exactly.
Yeah, that prick showing off. I just live here and I fuck around with logs in the backyard. That's my big deal.
Good life.
I do love that guy. If we ever get to interview him, though.
Yeah, he is pretty sweet. But again, keep in mind for your average athlete, everyday athlete, 20 minutes is more than enough for a warm-up.
Sweaty, confident what you did. Did you hit those key points?
Yeah.
And then if you have to backtrack once all the work starts, do it.
Yeah.
I find myself
if you're
just going all the time during my workout.
I say if you're really new to warming up, because there's a lot of kids who jump right into
that's
workouts. Right? If I were you, just even buy a fucking foam roller and just foam roll. Start foam rolling at first, and then progress later on.
And if people kind of think that's a misconception, well, I don't want to waste not time but energy on it.
Yeah.
Well, if you feel that you can't put in a 10 to 20 minute warm up because you didn't eat enough. The problem is not the fucking warm-up. You should be fucking eating something.
Yeah, you should be working out at that.
When we get to the nutrition part of this, and however many episodes that is, we will talk that everybody is sort of under-eating. Nobody's eating enough, and this deficit thing, yes, there's a place for it, but create the deficit. Don't sacrifice your workouts to fucking
And it was actually funny, just a little bit off topic for a second.
Oh, we're always off topic.
Just when you're talking about eat as much as you can.
Well, I didn't say eat as much as you can.
Well, no.
Eat lots.
After our Tough Mudder, because I walked so hard on that 16K.
My calves.
I had 2 kebabs, 10 wings, a steak, cheesecake, 3 beers.
Jesus, man.
Oh,
didn't gain a pound though, did you?
No, I weighed myself. I actually lost 3.
Fuck.
Boosted your metabolism.
Yeah. That's the
I
problem,
lost 3 pounds.
You got a meal plan 3 times a day. I tell you, I gained 4 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, week 1. In the books, 4 pounds.
How much do you have now?
177.
Almost at 180.
Yeah, so just think, boys, 17 more pounds.
Yeah, I gotta weigh myself tonight before I go to sleep. See that way. I feel light right now.
Do you have munchies?
No, I actually just had pizza.
Oh no, I didn't even touch munchies. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, I had pizza.
Quickly, kind of touching back a bit on that. People do not need to carb load before the mud run.
No.
I don't think you'd even need to carb load before the shorter Spartan races. Maybe before the long ones. Maybe before Tough Mudder, but no. I hate it when people say I'm carb loading for the 5K run I have on the weekend with some obstacles.
If you want to worry about something, fucking drink a lot of water.
Yeah,
get your water and get a good night's sleep.
That up. That's
stretch and get some sleep and drink some water. I think that's more important.
I had chocolate milk.
Dairy's just the worst. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm on the dairy.
Yeah.
But dairy before is
I know.
Dry mouth, just the worst.
Well, I wasn't even prepared for this. I had 6 months to train for it, but I'm a weightlifter.
You ran one day.
I don't run.
Oh, fuck it. You still
milk and
helped the whole team win or finish.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, I helped everybody out, which I was kind of glad.
Team player.
Yeah, they made me look good. So, but no, yeah, definitely. If you're there's no need to be carb loading for a 5 kilometer Spartan race.
Train for it.
Train for it and keep hydrated. That's the main thing.
You don't need to eat a bunch of pasta. You're not a professional athlete. You're running an obstacle race.
Yeah.
But you can buy the T-shirt at Sport Check now, which is really stupid. It says finisher on it, so it doesn't make any sense. I lost my shirt. What the fuck? What? No, you don't give a shit.
Nutrition before runs, kind of get back before workouts. When should you eat before workout? I guess this is something we should have started with.
I try to say, I say an hour, light meal.
Yeah,
light meal an hour.
Yeah.
So let's say us. Okay, so us, we are more, we're more geared towards like performance than we are. Well, fuck, where's my six pack at? We just don't want to do shit unless you're fucking Tom, in which case you just always have one. Mine. Doesn't really give a fuck, and you just eat 30 avocados and you're fine. But for the rest of us, normal people, we're more worried about lifting the max amount of weight. Am I going to be able to get through that entire set of 15 reps, whatever it is? Am I still going to have enough gas to do WODs at the end? What is it going to be? And that's when you got to eat to perform. So an hour before your workout, you're probably good. And again, we're talking, this is the one time of day that I would say a high glycemic carb isn't terrible, but I always pair something with a protein source.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Whether you do a pre-workout shake, maybe you just had lunch at that hour mark and you're done. You got an hour to digest. Because if you go in today, like I did, halfway through your fucking push press, you're like, oh no, what is that, right? And you keep it down, but you're okay. But I also like the idea of, I'm starting to dig like the intra-workout shake, so whether that is an actual protein shake with, again, like some fruit in it or whatever, or like branch chains.
Branch chains, those
would
be good.
I honestly feel so much better, so much stronger if I'm drinking branch chains as I go.
Yeah. For me, since I work out in the mornings, right, usually around, you guys see me at 8:30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm up and I probably eat around 7:45.
Yeah, you crush a big breakfast.
Yeah.
So you got 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, if you're taking 15, 20 minutes for your warm up, that's not overly aggressive. I can eat lunch and then go and do some band stretching.
No, exactly.
That doesn't matter.
So including the warm up and everything, by the time I'm all warmed up and ready to rock and everything's digested and I've been feeling really good lately. I know that my breakfasts were pretty light and I'll definitely feel
the one time you came in, you're like, I had a really good breakfast today. And I was like, that's fucking it? Like,
and then
I ate more than that before I had breakfast.
Yeah, and I trained, I was like, maybe Dave was right, that wasn't.
Yeah, so eat enough.
When in doubt, Dave's right. New t-shirt, come to the Barbell Podcast.
Good one. And that's kind of, again, consistency with the timing of your workouts will help with the nutrition beforehand. Because if you work out at the same time every day... Do
you guys like that? Do you guys like working the same time every day?
I don't necessarily like when I work out, but I find having that rhythm helps.
Did you find your workouts are better?
Yeah.
Like if let's say today you come home, whatever, or let's say you were working and you're like, oh fuck, if I had to do my workout at 7:30 today,
that would suck.
It would have sucked, but my workout was this afternoon. Actually, fucking right after I started work, it just happened. And it was really, really good. I had a really good workout. I felt really good about it. When if I was at 7:30, I would just been like, ugh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, timing wise, I think earlier is always better than later.
Yeah, 11 to 3 I have to work out.
Yeah, unless you're not a
I don't work out for 4 hours. I'm not insane. Sorry.
Yeah, unless you're not a morning person, then it's probably not a good idea. But be awake. Give yourself time to actually get up and get going. I like the afternoons because I'm not a morning person. It takes me a few hours to get moving in the morning, and then I've had a few clients, so I'm kind of clicking.
You're in the gear you want to actually see the workouts happen for you now.
Yeah. The thing that because I just got a new program, and it's a split.
Now, see, but that's just going to take getting used to it. Yes. If anything, you're going to get more sleep at night because you can sleep in a bit in the morning.
There's 3 exercises in the morning.
And you know what? I know your schedule. It's the same as mine. Your fucking middle of your day will just fall apart, and you can just mix it in there. Because if you have, that's what I was doing. I would work out, and then maybe 3-4 hours later, I would do my second WOD.
And it felt awesome. It's almost having my pre-meal before I work at the end of the night, right? Something that's specifically
for your second workout.
Yeah, so that's going to get me ready, plus pre-workout shake.
Yeah.
And then plus my meal, right? So I can at least stay awake. And
you're going to eat more too, I bet.
Yeah, big time. I'm actually kind of excited to see.
It's going to be hard to stay in that weight class. It's going to be fun. It's fun to mix it up once in a while. You can only do the same thing every day for so long before you're not as motivated. Yeah, you're just not as motivated. It's not that you're not motivated. It's just you're just like, oh, fuck.
It's just nice to switch it up.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, that's where time off comes in handy too. Training every day of the week, especially if you're doing a set program where you know what you're doing the next day will kill your motivation.
But stick
stick to it,
get through it, and then take some time off.
Yeah, or find a program that has more time off built into it. That's why I really like the 4 times a week program, because I can go day on, day off, day on, day off, 2 days on, and then the weekend, right?
Yeah.
So that's good for me because I'm always looking forward to working out.
Well, and making it convenient for your day too, for your life, because you work out during the week, which is good, and maybe you take I take Sundays off like clockwork.
Yeah,
and I think it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, take Sunday off, and if you want, make that your cheat meal.
Yeah.
Also, we'll talk about that in the nutrition.
We'll talk about that
podcast. Yeah. But
cliffhanger. Not cliffhanger. Teaser. That's the word. Okay, so let's try to get back on track. So we're at the actual workout now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I personally like the idea. We talked about this in the conjugate system of doing my heavy lifts first, any accessory lifts after, and depending how you define cardiovascular exercise, that at the end, or even if depending. What are you training for? How are you going to train it? Maybe even later in the day, giving yourself a lot more time to recover.
Yeah, and that's I think that's kind of a no-brainer for most people. Do my heavy lifts first.
Yeah, I get asked that question more times than it would fucking surprise you because should I do cardio first or my weights first? Well, okay, now first of all, who am I talking to? Are they training for something really special? Do I feel that if they ran for 20 minutes beforehand, is it going to affect what we're doing today in the actual weight room? 9 times out of 10, no.
Yeah, general population doesn't really matter.
It's a matter of getting it in. Just get it in, get it done. But anyways, okay, so heavy lifts first. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, okay.
And start, and a little more in-depth, start with something that's more technical as well. So if you're doing an Olympic lift, I prefer, and most programs start with the snatch because it is a little bit more technically demanding, but it's not going to be as heavy and it's easier to recover from than the clean and jerk. So you're sharp for the technique, you get a decent workout, and it actually works as a pretty good complement as a warm-up for your cleans, because it's the same pull, right, with lighter weight.
Yeah.
And then, as opposed to doing the clean and jerk first, you're probably going to be pretty gassed.
It's a lot heavier.
Yeah, and your snatches are going to be off, technically. So technical stuff first, technical and heavy stuff first, and then lighter accessory work.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then, so let's say on a day we're doing, so Olympic lifting. So we're looking at the big Olympic weightlifting programs. Those are the ones that are more complicated. So those are the more ones that we would do, athletes would do, because you can't do a heavy clean and jerk one day and then expect to go and PR in your front squat 20 minutes after you just did that.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. And that's what some shitty programs will try to do. Don't. Try to make it different, work at lower percentages.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're doing a clean and jerk that day, what accessories would you guys recommend to have? So we're talking, I don't know, maybe like a lighter 5x5 after that, or if you want to do the hypertrophy thing. So working on extension, lockout. So
good mornings.
One of my good mornings is always good, especially powerlifting community. I'm really digging the close grip bench just to work on that lockout. Triceps. I barely talk about bench, but I love that working on the lockout there, and it's honestly they're on fire.
Yeah, I've been making my clients do a lot of close grip bench.
Yeah, I just think that depending on what you're trying to train them for, it's just a little more beneficial.
Yeah.
I mean, you still want to have pecs and all that stuff, but it is good. I like the tricep extension. Lots of pulling exercises. So again, if we get into deadlifts, we get into snatches, all those things. You need to pull your lats.
I think
are really so neglected.
Yeah, lats and the wide grip row.
Yeah.
I love that exercise.
Yeah, lat pull down. The one time I'll say use a lat pull down. If you're trying to get a better deadlift, you're trying to get better at your Olympic lifting, I think it's huge because now you can start working on those small little bits and pieces to help you get that extra
And the one
PR.
thing that Donnie Schenkel said in his vlogs that after every session he would just go and do probably 3 sets of heavy lat pull down. 3 sets of lat pull downs, or he'd finish off with some heavy kettlebell swings. Stuff like that, right? Which I think would be really, really good, just to get your back more strong, right? Because if you have a weak back, you're not gonna.
Oh yeah, man. It's the building blocks. If you lose that, you lose the base.
Yeah, and even what Dimitri said, he's like, well, when your coach tells you to keep your flat back, it's not your technique, it's your weak.
Oh, is that how he said it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking Kolakov. I do understand that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that sounds like him, but this might just be Kevin Hughes' style.
Yeah. I just raced.
I raced.
Lost. 16.
Owie.
Walked.
But posterior chain. Everything on the back. Everyone focuses on the front.
Fancy buzzwords. Posterior chain.
The back is where you need to be strong. And again, keep in mind if you're doing, more Olympic lifting style, you are going to be getting a lot of that work through your classic lifts.
Yeah.
So if you've done a heavy clean and jerk and like a heavy snatch day, probably not going to need to go do some good mornings afterwards, right?
The reason you guys think, or are probably assuming that we think all of you are Olympic weightlifters, or you're all powerlifters, or you're all trying to do this, is because we believe in a certain way of training people, and we don't think, now, even if you are general population, it doesn't mean that you're incapable of anything. It means you have to build some blocks, you have to get some mobility. But as far as I'm concerned, it is no reason that you can be a 55-year-old female, never lift a weight in your life, and by the time you're 57 or something like that, that you couldn't actually pull off a snatch.
Yeah.
And that's a huge gap. That's 2 years I'd give you to do that. You got to work on all those things, but so many things change with that.
Yeah.
Get your building blocks. Get your mobility. Your life changes with these things. What I'm saying, we say you should deadlift. You should squat. Do it properly. You should learn how to do a clean and jerk. Why can't you do a pull-up? Why can't you get your arm above your head and keeping your thoracic cavity tight and not sticking your ribcage out?
Yeah.
Simple things that everyone should be able to do. It shouldn't all just be we're doing triceps today.
And all this stuff has kind of become like the holy grail of fitness, right?
If it works, we can't battle with what works.
Yeah, but people are so afraid to get near it because they're intimidated, right?
Yeah.
They see, because the only exposure this stuff gets is at the higher levels, right?
Yeah.
You never see like
you never see the average person.
I think if it wasn't for the CrossFit Games, we wouldn't probably be doing this.
Yeah, that's very true.
The best part is, and I'll say this about us, I'll say this about myself even, we're not as qualified as there's a lot of coaches out there. We are still so young in this business, and we're trying to feel this all out, and that's why we're talking to you guys about this. We're figuring it out. It's not that we don't know what we're doing. We just want to get better and do this. It's just okay, so anyway, back to it. So I'm doing a back squat today. What's my volume? That's my heavy lift. What are we doing for volume?
If that's your heavy lift,
that's the biggest thing. That's what
it's
Monday. That's what I need to work with today. What am I doing?
70 to 80%, 3 to 6 reps, 3 to 6 sets.
Perfect. Okay, so we're looking at essentially, what did you say, 3? So we could go anywhere from 9 reps to 24 reps. 24 reps. Sorry, 24 reps. So that's great. So we have those optimal ranges. We have those other ranges. Beginners start at the bottom. Guys who are, well, I'd say even not, you don't even work at the top.
Yeah.
Doing those pendulum curves, things like that, those are so much more detail. But basically, even, we've talked about this, a 5x5 at 75 to 85%, start at the low end, work your way up. Are you comfortable? Is it mobility issues? Is your hip not working the way it used to?
Yeah.
Does your form suffer? Go back.
And this is like, really pay attention to that, because I've trained people where you'll get them to squat and they struggle to stand up with the weight, and then they're like, oh, my legs are fine, it's my back that's killing me.
So that means you can't do it. So that leads into, what are we working on for accessories? Because obviously we want to do this. Simple. Back extensions. The stupid Superman's where you land on the ground if you don't have a GHD. If you have a GHD, glute ham raises and back extensions, or reverse hypers.
Yeah.
You can reverse hyper off a GHD without any weight on it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's tough enough. It needs, have some cool sensations off that.
And if you're also having issues with that, it's probably indicative. Is that a word? Yeah. Of some mobility issues as well. So open up your hips a bit more, work on your hamstrings, stretch out your back a bit.
I find that a lot of times when you're saying, our lower back hurts, it's usually because your glutes are so tight in your hamstrings. Everything's connected, everything's pulling you down. Right at the top, so your piriformis, right at the top of your butt. If you're finding that really tight, don't be afraid to get an adjustment from a chiropractor. Don't be afraid to go to a massage therapist. They're going to hurt you in the best ways, but it's going to fix you. And it's important.
And pay attention to that pain, too, because I always ask clients, is it musculature, or are you feeling it in your spine? And if they're feeling it in the muscles, it's probably not that big of a deal at the time. It could be a little bit of tightness or something, but as long as they're working with appropriate weights, whatever. Or it could just be their back muscles are actually working and they're getting fatigued.
Well, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured.
Yes.
As a human being, you know what that pain is. But everybody's so afraid, and again, we do focus on the lower back a lot. But they're so afraid that when their lower back starts to hurt, that all of a sudden it's an injury.
Yeah.
But if I said, okay, we're doing bench press today, oh, my chest was so sore yesterday, then it's the greatest pain in the world.
Yeah.
We did bicep curls. Oh, my biceps are fucking killing me. Well, what difference does it make then? I'm sorry that your lower back doesn't show up in a magazine all the time, but...
There's actually a good example is one of the clients, he was doing a push-up and his back was just killing him, his lower back. I was like,
so that's just shitty.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, come here. So we stretched out his hamstrings, and then I gave him a little bit of a warm-up, and we did probably 3 sets of 10 of light weights on the deadlifts, and I got him doing 3 sets of 10 of back extensions, and did some hamstring curls on the stability ball, and then he's like, oh, wow, my back feels fine now. Yeah. Because I think we got him stretched out his hamstrings, and we actually got blood flowing into his lower back.
Yeah, and just that core engagement, too.
Activation.
Get all that. It was just, it was funny. He's like, he was so terrified to work out his lower back because he just felt like it was going to pop. And I was like, well, stretch your hamstrings out and focus on deadlifts. I was like, have you ever done deadlifts before?
Yeah, and if you've never done deadlifts before, you are going to feel it in your lower back. That's completely normal. I mean, I've had times where I bend over after a deadlift session and it takes me 5 seconds to stand up because my back is spasming. But that's normal.
It's a trick of the trade. That's where you want to go with it. And the cool thing is, for anybody who's listening to this and they're like, "Oh, deadlifts, that's scary. I've never done those." Do them. You're gonna think they're the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Yes.
You're gonna lift some massive weights you didn't think you could pick up off the ground.
Yeah.
When I say massive, relative to you, obviously,
yeah.
and you're gonna feel pretty damn good about yourself.
Yeah, it is a great exercise.
Okay, so we have our heavy lifts. So that might consist of, let's say if it's us, back squats, front squats, deadlifts, military press, could be bench press.
Yep.
That could, and those also include our Olympic lifts. So it could be a clean and jerk. It could just be the clean. Could be the jerk, the snatch, overhead squat. It could just be a snatch balance that day. It could be a heavy fucking good morning if that's what you need that day. But those are your main lifts. Could be weighted pull-ups, dips, whatever.
Compound movements.
Big compound movements. So there is let's talk about that. There is a good place for isolation exercises in your workouts, but they should come pretty close to the end, and only if you're really finding that you need them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's more. I find this is referencing way back to Eugene Sandow, who, for those of you who don't know, he's the figurine on the Mr. Olympia trophy, so the father of bodybuilding, was actually a strong man to begin with, and his belief was you exercise for your health, and then for strength, and then for your physique, and he used a lot of isolation movements as secondary, and he viewed them as evening out disproportionate and out of balance areas in the body. So, again, if you have weak triceps, do some dips, do some tricep extension, stuff like that. Because if you're just benching to try, like bench pressing to try and improve your tricep strength, your pecs are going to take over and your triceps aren't going to do any work and they're not going to get any stronger and your bench is going to stay the same. So isolation does have a place, but again, leave it till the end and you probably don't need to do that many exercises.
When we talk about it, like I say, I put the close grip benching, but like tricep extensions, things that, let's say you're trying to improve your jerks and things like that, until you start getting to a point of your technique is pretty sound and you're starting to get into some serious weights, it's not a huge focus.
Good.
Again, it has its place, and of course the aesthetic thing is fantastic. But there's a lot of things. Always try to train with a purpose. I think that's what I said at the beginning.
And be efficient, right? So again, bigger movements are going to be more efficient, better use of your time. And I think it's funny because it's probably not until you're at the higher end of your sport that isolation movements are going to come into play.
I wrote an article about this in the newspaper. Got called a celebrity today by a client. So.
Good stuff.
You're welcome, everybody. That'll be available if you message me on Facebook. I'll give it to you.
$5.
No, totally free for now until we're all really famous.
Yeah.
Our logo should be coming soon, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, is that happening?
Is that happening?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Stand by, everyone. There's a logo coming soon.
There's a logo. It's getting serious now.
Okay, strength done. Extra. We talk about hypertrophy. Movement. So those isolation exercises, it could be compound exercises where you work at sets of 6 to 10 to 12, whatever it is. Whatever you're trying to build, again, blocks are everything. Your base blocks, you need those. There's no point of trying to jerk 200 if everything else is behind and you haven't lifted another weight in any way. I mean, unless you're some kind of crazy fucking athlete. Work on your base blocks.
Strong.
Never front squat about and clean too. Whatever. That's a bad example. Anyways, okay. So that's done. What else are we doing?
Now, when would plyometrics come into play?
Totally different world of programming that I don't really even want to touch on.
No, that, well, you can, okay, so now we're kind of into the conditioning phase, so you can employ some...
Poopy.
Okay, plyometrics, again, I touched on this a little while ago.
In the last podcast.
Yeah, very overused term.
Because you jump doesn't mean it's plyometric.
Yeah, using
in a sense, we're using it.
Yeah, so but stuff like box jumps, hurdles, stuff like that, you can definitely incorporate that into your conditioning. Box jumps are huge in CrossFit, stuff like that. Pretty decent exercise. So now your conditioning phase, this is going to be interesting.
Let's take a break before we do conditioning phase. Okay.
Sounds good.
We're taking a break now. Where is it? Okay, break. To summarize kind of what we were getting into before and make it a little more legible, I guess. Pick a program that's going to go for your goals and then make a commitment to yourself that you are going to stick with it for the duration.
Yes.
Yes?
Whatever your goal is, stick with what's going to help you.
Okay. Step 2. a lot 10 to 20 minutes at least to get a warm-up. Warm-up should include dynamic movements, band stretching,
foam rolling,
some crazy mobility shit.
A little bit of skill work.
Skill movement prep. So again, working through your Olympic lifts, working through squats and all those things.
And take it, again, progress with it from like general to specific. So start with some really basic stuff, then work your way up. And you should almost start, again, if you're doing like an Olympic lifting or a deadlift, at the end of your warm-up, you should be doing light reps of that
as that transition into that move, which takes us into, I'll use it as an example, we've been working up in our warm-up in low deadlifts. Okay, now we're working at 85% at a 5x5 for deadlifts, for example. Okay.
Don't hop right in at a 5x5.
And that...
Yeah, exactly. That's where our warm-up took us to. So
that should take your main move, or moves, should take you around 20 minutes, usually, to do your deadlifts and stuff like that.
Yep.
Shouldn't take you any longer. Take 2...
Think it would take 20 minutes?
It could. Well, if you're doing 10...
I think I've been working... Mine's different.
Yeah.
I've been working at trying to a minute to a minute and a half between sets. Or every minute on the minute for my sets, depending on the weight I'm at.
Yeah, depending on how you're timing it, it will vary. 20 minutes would be the maximum you would want to spend on your main move. And again, 2 minutes, I kind of keep that as a general rule in between sets if you're working at the higher end of that, kind of 70% you can get away with like a minute and a half. 75 to 80 you might want to take 2 minutes minimum, but 2 to 6 minutes should be your rest period. 6 minutes is obviously heavy stuff, but 2 minutes.
Yeah, if you're doing like back to back 1RM,
95,
96. If you're doing that 97% shit for doubles or fucking whatever you're talking about.
Walk away for 5 minutes, and then come back.
Have a breather.
But 20 minutes should be allotted to your heavy lifting. So even if you're doing more than one compound move, so if you're doing deadlifts or squats, give that 20 minutes. Because then we're going to get into the next bit, which is conditioning and how that...
Not yet. The accessory stuff
Accessory
first.
work, yeah.
Stay on topic. We're trying to sum it up.
Sorry, I'm tying it in. So accessory work comes next.
Okay, we're talking about accessory work. We're not conditioning. There goes the fucking build-up. We're doing accessory work. I'm totally thrown off now.
Hypertrophy
stuff. So we're doing those accessories to complement the movements we just did. Any of the big weaknesses we've been showing. There's a lot of primary moves that we talked about, back extensions, good mornings, just having extra front squats at lower weight just to work on, are my elbows high enough, stupid things like that, rowing, pull-ups, lat pull-downs. Is this the day we're doing bench? Why not? It could just be body weight stuff if that's what you need. If you're not in a position,
and try and keep it a little simpler, because you are going to be pretty burned out mentally, or you should be from your main lifts and stuff, so...
Mentally.
I like doing mentally and physically.
Okay.
But I like I like doing squats as accessory work, because that's something you can really just zone out on, or it should be something you can just kind of zone out on and lift heavy with. So
just don't die.
Yeah, obviously, but not too mentally engaging. Something you can kind of just do, right? Kind of cruise through. Okay, can I get on to the conditioning bit now?
Okay, so now we're gonna go
because this is
back to part 3.
Talking about the timing, 10 to 20 minutes for warm-up, 20 minutes for your main moves, 20 minutes for your accessory work, you're at an hour now.
Yes.
Okay, so what you can do is either you can go home, or you can go kettlebell swings for posterior chain, box jumps, wall balls for squatting, push press for pressing, stuff like that.
Thrusters are amazing.
Thrusters are.
Because you hit everything.
Yeah, they suck.
They suck.
So you can do that, or if you want to go for 100 or an hour and 20 minutes, that's fine. Usually my workouts are like an hour and a half to an hour and 20 minutes. And people are always paranoid nowadays about, if I work out for more than an hour, I'm going to have my hormone level out of whack and cortisol, and I'm going to start going catabolic.
Who's saying that?
That's...
Wow, you're talking to some crazy...
Yeah, okay. And this is how people push the whole half-hour workout garbage, because you shouldn't be spending half an hour in the gym. You should be spending more than half an hour in the gym. 20 minutes.
When you're trying to develop a big-time athletic skill, we're not talking general population.
Yeah, general population.
Disclaimer for today, at least.
Even general population, if you're in really bad shape, yes, half an hour in the gym is enough.
Fair enough.
If you're in mild to good shape, no, it's not enough.
Moderate
to good shape.
moderate to good shape, you need to start stepping it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But that's still an hour of full out intensity, and I don't believe when people say, "Oh, I can't do 100%." You can do damn near 100%,
yeah.
or at least with like scheduled breaks and things. But I'd much rather spend an hour in there than a half an hour, or fucking half an hour and then a half an hour later.
Yeah.
Despite what you're doing, Kevin, I say do what you're doing, and it's fantastic. But
Yeah, if
you
again,
are
working out twice a day,
you're of a different percentile.
stuff like that, right? So yeah, don't be afraid of spending more than an hour in the gym. Obviously, if you're looking at efficiency, an hour is ideal. In that case, CrossFit works pretty well because you can just do a WOD and get your conditioning and your supplement/accessory exercises in at the same time.
It is glorious. So
It's worth it.
So let's look at what I'm doing. I've said CrossFit strength buys 100 times. Kevin's doing this too in a different way, slower way. Yeah. So basically, I would do my heavy lift and then my accessories for the sake of this, based on my weight gain challenge. If you've read my blog, hopefully you have. Based on that, is working at lower time intervals. So I try to keep my WODs under 10 minutes, usually 8 if I can help it. Whether that's me pushing my intensity or just putting a time cap on an AMRAP, and working at really heavy weights. So I'm still getting that intensity. I'm getting my heart rate up. I'm still getting that skill of approaching weights at crazy amounts. So it's just a matter of putting burpees in there, or do I have to get muscle up or skipping or double lunges or whatever the fuck it is in there. And then it's like, okay, now you have to do like a 135-pound thruster. And it's like, fuck, like that's going to burn me.
Yeah.
But that's the way to do it. So Kevin, like you're doing bigger movements, but just slower, right? Like you're doing like really big stuff. Well, your program changed actually. I don't even know what you're doing now.
Yeah, my program changed now. It's 12 weeks, but I haven't really gone too depth into it yet. No, I haven't really seen what I'm working with, just for the fact I've been busy. But yeah, no, I'm starting next week. Just gonna take an active rest week and everything, work on my mobility and everything like that. But yeah, no, but I mean, for the last program I was on, as you guys were talking about ending your workouts with some accessory stuff, same
yeah, I guess maybe you didn't do like the conditioning part. Yeah. So my reason for doing that is because I do not want to lose what little athleticism I have right now, and with the middle trying to gain weight. If I lose my gymnastics now, this will be all for naught in the end.
Yeah, and you can.
And
again,
Tom, you need to start conditioning. I think we
we
realized that the
talked
other
about
day.
that. Start doing that on my off days.
So Tom is in the middle of doing some kind of fucking crazy program that we looked at, and again, I'm still waiting for him to upload a blog with an example of this for you people to see what the rocket scientist has been doing. Yeah. But essentially, it was 4 sets of 6.
Yeah.
4 sets of 6 at snatch at a decent percentage.
75%.
So 6 snatch at 75%, trying to maintain form in the most complicated lift. And he got so gassed that he just had to laugh at the top of his lift.
And then, 3 sets, and then 4 sets of 3 for clean and jerk.
Yeah.
Which,
at 85?
Still 75. But I did 4 sets of 6 today at 80%, and that was horrible. It kind of turned into, like, sets of 3. So, in that case, another thing you can do for your conditioning is do it on your off days. If you're taking days off from the weights, hop on the rower, go for a run. I was thinking,
like that. Even for this week, is just doing a little bit of
this is what what you were saying, Kevin. An active rest.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go to Rich Froning, hero of mine. Maybe you guys have heard of him. But his active rest days, again, if you're gonna eat enough and all this, blah 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 blah, he doesn't just sit on his ass. He'll go into an active row. His recovery day was, I'm just kind of hanging out. I did a 4,500 meter row. He went and did some really light cleans, and then he went and played football that night or something like that. So don't sit on your ass. You have 7 days a week. If the Canada recommendation for this is 60 minutes of activity a week, just to maintain decent health, if you're training with a purpose.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just thinking of doing a 2,000 meter row tomorrow. Doing some heavy kettlebell cleans.
You know what I did? I did 20 rounds. It sounds ridiculous. 20 rounds of a 100 meter row with 30 seconds rest.
Yeah.
I felt great because I'm not trying to fucking kill myself. I'm not trying to do anything. I am pushing pretty hard.
Yeah. And there is a
lot. Good. And then I just messed around with handstands. That's a great day.
And there's a lot of benefit to doing conditioning on days off, just in terms of actually clearing up the muscles, lactic acid, blah, 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 blah. So it does definitely have a place. On the flip side of that, don't get carried away with it. It is still a rest day, and this is something I always have trouble with because I'll get in the gym and then I'll start lifting heavy again when I'm supposed to.
And somebody says, "Hey, look what I can do," and then you go.
Exactly. So check the ego at the door. You're not trying to beat anyone, not trying to set any PRs. Just rest.
Kevin's had to stop me a few times because muscle ups are still kind of an issue for me.
Yeah.
And on a rest day, I'd be messing around, and I'd just go, well, I'll just go do some muscle ups. He had to tell me to stop because I was just too tired.
yeah.
It was not happening. He's just like, you have to stop.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
And it's not. There's no overtraining. It's just maybe I didn't eat enough. I'm tired. Whatever.
Yeah,
That was just the end of the
exactly.
day. I'd already worked out. I'm done with that for today. Okay, what were we talking about?
Conditioning. Days off.
Okay, so conditioning. We like the WOD format, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple though. If you're gonna do plyometrics, add some box jumps.
No, yeah, and that's all we
Yeah.
do. That's,
And-
box jumps
Yeah.
are long. No, fucking maybe a long jump.
No, but box jumps and kettlebell swings.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
if
like
you're
a
brand new
yeah.
to it, just get that hip extension.
Well, if you look
get
in the
car-
work, get the cardio. So get a
Yeah.
metabolic movement in there. So
whether it's Tabata.
rowing, skipping. Yeah, there you go. Tabata, perfect. Even if you
Yeah.
just like Tabata squats, no weight.
Yeah.
You did that, man. Then you mixed in some push-ups.
Exactly.
If that's what you need for that day, so like if you're trying to gain weight, you don't need to go too hard. If it's like if you just had a hard weight day and you know it's supposed to be your weight day, but you have enough energy and you want to do a little conditioning, do a tiny WOD.
And like
yeah.
when I first started getting into Olympic weightlifting, before I started even really knowing about it, I started this program where I wasn't doing any Olympic lifts, but I was just working on my military press. I was working on everything else.
I was gonna say that one from
But-
Catalyst, but no.
No, it was I don't know what side I got off of, but it was actually, it helped me out big time. And we'd have a strength day, then we have an accessory day, where it was 30 minutes of cardio, and then I would do a box jump Tabata, and
I
a Tabata war
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
row.
I remember you on
doing
that.
this, yeah.
Yeah, and
How long did you last on that program?
it was for 4 weeks, I believe. 1 to 4
And
weeks.
you went the whole way?
Yeah, went the whole
Oh,
way.
wow,
And,
that-
yeah, went really good. So,
Um,
I mean, that's where the plyometrics.
Yeah, well, remember that other one? I know Tom did it, but I know he took out the WODs. That one from Catalyst Athletics that we did.
Yeah.
And it was
Oh, yeah,
8
that was
weeks.
Yeah.
Wicked program.
And they
But I remember having a few days there where all of a sudden, now you got to do kettlebell snatches in your WOD, and I was just tapped
Yeah.
out. I was done.
That's when we were still learning, right? And that's when we weren't
Yeah.
all eating crazy like we are now. or-
Yeah, now we were a lot less strict than we are now.
Yeah. And it's good that we're learning. And
Yeah.
it's actually funny. I actually have, if you got it, a good tip is just save your programs. Because I look back at mine, it's
Yeah.
nerdy, but it's fun to look
And it's
at.
good.
like-
Yeah, it's good to see what you've done and stuff
So
like
I was
that.
like, wow, I remember when I was only doing 300 here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can always, do your conditioning depending on what you're training for. And maybe that's 30 minutes on a run outside. I like running outside because, again, it's an actual,
Yeah.
what's it,
So
perpetual movement, whatever the hell it
Yeah.
is.
Slim
We're actually
it
moving.
down,
Treadmills
simple
aren't ideal. But
for
again, we live in
conditioning.
Red Deer. We live in Red Deer, and it's what, September
8th?
9th or 8th or 9th here, and it
It's
snowed
snowed.
today. It snowed
Yeah.
all freaking day today, September. It was
Yeah.
28 on the weekend, just so you guys know.
Yeah, yesterday was
Wow.
27 in Drumheller when I raced.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning. I think it was 0 and there was
Yeah.
snow on the ground.
Yeah, we saw the Stampeders game. It was 28. I was out there in shorts, having a few
We got
beers.
sunburn
It was
yesterday.
fun.
It's snowing today.
It's snowing today. That's where we live.
Just touching real quick, running outside way better than treadmills. Unless
Yes.
you're a rank beginner, you're not going to get any faster speed-wise running on a treadmill, just because there's not a
Yeah.
lot of force production.
I do like the fact that it is totally controlled, especially with like your inclines and thing like
Yeah.
that.
And
And
it's,
no matter what,
yeah.
you can just I did get like a 0.5
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
or I could do
Conditioning
it
wise, it definitely has some merit
Yeah.
to it. But if you're again more
skill wise.
athletic, so and make your conditioning again fit for your sport. So if you're a football player, do lots of intervals. If you're a
Yes.
soccer player, do more steady state stuff. Right, kind of try and mimic your sport a bit.
Yeah.
That way, right?
Just balance it out. Hockey's usually the one that we train most people in.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest. Yeah, you got to balance it. You got to really balance it because you want sprints, and then you want the steady state, and then you need the strength training because you are so full body and so full tilt that
Yeah.
you have to be able to do everything at a moment's notice. But that's just me tooting hockey's horn. Okay, so the workout's complete now.
Yes.
If you guys have any questions at that point, please message us on Facebook, blogs, whatever you want. We're happy to help. We're happy to take criticism too. This podcast is not over though. So now the workout's done. So cool down. I think a cool down really aids with recovery, whatever that
Yes.
might be.
Mm-hmm.
I like to just go. My recovery usually ends up just putting in some gymnastic movements.
Yeah.
So that today, like I said, I worked on
Blood pooling.
butterflies. Doing pistols now and again, things like that.
Yeah.
Handstands. I think I have handstands in every single day, except today because it's starting to hurt my head.
Yeah.
I fall on it all the time.
My recovery is usually just lying on the floor for about 5 minutes.
Super active.
Yeah. But what I do, because I don't actually do any active recovery after I work out, I kind of just sit there, get my heart rate back down to normal, and then I go take a contrast shower, it's called. So that's starting cold, going hot. No, sorry. starting
You
hot.
don't fucking actually do it, do you?
I do. Yeah, I do that. It takes me about 15, 20 minutes, depending on the cycles and stuff. So starting 3 cycles, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So start hot,
It
finish
took
cold.
3 podcasts to talk about showers. To talk about men's showers.
That's awesome.
That's not bad, actually. I think.
Yeah.
No, it's
33% of our podcasts have nude men.
it works very well, just because the way the temperatures affect your blood vessels.
Shocks the lactic acid out of the
Yeah,
muscle.
stuff like that. And there are also
Old
maybe
school.
some merit again for the central nervous system recovery, but no real scientific evidence of that. But the Chinese lifters do it, so I'm going to do it.
Because they know a thing or two about this.
Yeah.
Kevin, active?
Ah,
Foam roll, anything?
you know what? To be honest, I actually do a little bit of core work to end my day, just for the fact that if I'm lifting a lot with my back and my hamstrings, I heard from one of the Olympic weightlifters, Jared. His last name's Enderton or something.
Edgerton?
I believe so.
Jared Edgerton?
He said that he likes to do core work just to get the blood flow out of his back and more into his anterior chain, just to kind of even it out.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So
That is
I'll
a good
do
point,
a
yeah.
Tabata war on the ab wheel, or also do some.
Yeah, you do the ab wheel.
I like the ab
That's-
wheel.
Fuck, every time I see you, you're doing the ab
Yeah.
That's a
wheel.
good one.
No,
That
I
is
like
good,
the ab.
yeah.
Anything. I'm not big into push sit-ups just because they
It's
kind
not,
of.
it's a pointless exercise.
Yeah, it gives you a bad posture, and
It's a hip flexor exercise. It really doesn't do anything. There's a reason people's back hurts with
Yeah.
it. It's
so if anything,
pointless.
I just use the ab wheel because it works the core like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
And then eat.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I have a protein
Eat
shake and a
perform.
big
More
meal with it.
carbs in. You need a
Yes,
insulin
yes.
spike to get protein into your muscle cells. Don't be afraid to kick in an apple. I like the low
Yeah.
glycemic carbs. If this is mealtime, get mealtime.
Some
Yeah, usually
I
the
love
Post-workout
biggest,
shakes, great stuff.
yeah, biggest meal of the day is usually my post-workout meal. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just so hungry
Yeah.
at the end of it, right?
Honestly, I heard this one from Mike Blood, so I told Kevin about this. But he stopped taking protein shakes. And I wouldn't say I stopped taking them. It just so happened that I ran out of protein, so I had a branch chain, so I was like, well, I'll use that. I started doing a scoop before or during my workout, and then I take 2 scoops in a big thing of water afterwards. I feel great. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like I
do.
recover really good.
Yeah, you do have a protein shake before you work out, hey? Or is it just a
Today,
scoop?
the odd time I do.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I lasted a whole week and I'm on the whole milk. I'm on the whole milk pretty hard, but that's okay. So I'm kind of doing that almost as my protein shake because if anything else, it's a little more what's the word economical than protein is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like $5 a jug. It needs like 2,000 calories a jug.
Really? Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God, that's so
I like my protein shakes.
good. Yeah. If I'll probably start doing that on top of, but yeah.
Yeah. No.
But anyway,
As.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to sum it up, when you're making a workout plan, big lift, whatever it is.
accessorize
No,
that lift.
I fucked that up.
Warm up first.
Warm up first.
Don't warm up. No, wait,
Yeah.
that's not right. And then whatever you do, lay on the fucking ground for
Yeah.
5 minutes, and then
So-
take a shower.
Warm up,
20-minute warm up.
big lift.
20 minutes for your big lift, your main moves,
20 minutes.
20 minutes for your accessory stuff.
accessories, or conditioning.
Whatever your sport may be, if you're just want to get your
make it
heart rate
sport
up.
specific, or
then-
do it on your days off.
Yeah.
Then recover.
Yeah,
Get some food.
Very simple.
Very simple, yeah. And if you need ideas, my biggest influence on this is CrossFit Football. John Wellborn,
Really cool program.
strong as shit. He does all the program personally, and it's all
He's
you
a-
can.
Is that that guy
accessorize all
who's
these.
just huge? Like,
320 pounds, former NFL
yeah.
defensive end.
I watch his
defensive tackle.
podcast. He's a monster.
He's crazy, but it's a matter of yeah. I do. I'm stupid. I do as my WODs and things. I do Olympic weightlifting in my accessories as part of my accessories, only because
Yeah.
I'm trying to just keep the movement up. I'm not trying to PR.
Yeah, and if you're going light enough with that stuff,
It's form,
You'll
it's
be fine.
technique, and we know
Yeah.
this. You're more likely to get your technique better for a PR than you are your strength
Yes.
for a
Yeah.
PR. Because if you're just getting strong, you're probably just getting shitty looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it, guys.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so
podcast.
Tom is gonna find time this week, and I'm gonna show him
Yeah.
how the fucking computer works, and he's gonna get a blog up. Kevin and I will have blogs to post.
Yeah.
And please tell your friends, listen to us on SoundCloud. Like I said, Spotify is going to be coming soon. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, shoot it onto our Facebook page. And don't be afraid to call us out and call us a bunch of shitheads. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
off.